everyone, it's Sharonda from Para Weights, and today I'm going to be reviewing Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Episode 1, Back in the Day. You guys, we are here with another installment of Power, and I have to say, I am pleasantly surprised with Book 3, Raising Kanan. I'm going to keep it honest, I'm going to keep it real. Y'all, this was some of the best acting that I have seen. This is one of the best first episodes that I have seen, and I truly, just listen, hear me out. I truly believe this in my heart and soul that Book 3, Raising Kanan, it might be the best book out of the Power universe. All right? Hear me out. I'm going to explain why, but let me dive into this week's episode with the premiere of this new book. I really did love when I saw the Power universe. I was like, 50 said, put some respect on my name, okay? While y'all worrying about the MCU, okay, and the DCU, let's talk about the Power universe, okay? Because I got my own universe right here, right now. I did like the song that they have. It's a new song called Part of the Game with 50. I actually like that. I love it. This episode just looked good. You know how you watching something on TV and you was like, oh, they had money. Like they had money. Like even the intro, how everything looks. And I know it's the same like all the other ones, you know, with this new little intricacies to show Power Book 3. But it just looked nice, okay? The costumes, nice. Had a little cinematic, had a movie feel to it, all right? The hair was laid, especially Kanan Mama Raquel. I was just like, y'all got some money, didn't you? 50 said, you know what, this is about my character. We're going to put some money into it. Not like the other Power books that they don't look nice as well, but it just had a crisp, a richness to it. I felt all of them. I was seeing the money that was put into this labor of love. But I do want to say overall, first impressions of this episode, I like what they did with it. I like that they don't go too deep in with the drugs or violence. They really want you to like get introduced to the characters. I love the narration that 50 Cent has. I think that's a nice touch to this Power book. Let me just get into the recap because I'm just going to keep gushing about it and we got to talk about the episode because we don't have enough time. So, the episode opens up in 1985. We see that Kanan is basically getting his ass beat. I ain't gonna lie, he was getting the brakes broke off of him, okay? Beat out of him. And so we see that Jukebox, his cousin, is watching her, holding her back. She was about that life, so there's like, let's hold her down so she don't beat our behinds. But they basically beat the brakes off of Kanan, took his money, okay? Took the boy's money. Everybody laughing at him now. And then when he did that run, I said, I know this ain't Kanan. I know that ain't Kanan running like that. Kanan running away from a fight, which I like that they show us as Kanan as being what we would call soft in the beginning, because then it helps you appreciate who we know Kanan to be in Power. I think it adds a nice added layer to his character. But we see when he goes back, you know, his mom is talking to him and just trying to see like what's going on. How did these kids knew that you have money? It's like all the questions your mama be asking you. Be like, you don't see I got my ass beat. You don't see I'm in pain right now, but you asked me 15,011 questions about it. Don't matter. My ass got beat. That's all that you need to know right now. But I saw when she was putting the batteries into the sock. I said, Lord, she finna beat these damn kids. I was like, she really putting these batteries in the sock to beat somebody. But she basically told him like, hey, let me tell you something. You don't get beat, okay? All right? You don't run away from them, okay? So you gonna go back and you gonna fight. You gonna take care of this. And it brought me back to my childhood. I don't know if this is just in every black household, but my mama used to tell me, if you get beat, if you come home and tell me that you let somebody beat you, I'm gonna beat you when you get home. So when she said that to him, I was like, I guess this happens in every black household where your mama say, if you don't beat them, I'ma beat. If you let them beat you, I'ma beat you. I felt that in my spirit right there. I guess that's just a black mama thing. Everybody gonna get their ass beat if you let somebody beat your ass. So you gotta do what you gotta do so you don't get that ass whooped when you get home. Cause she's like, you might be able to outrun them, but you ain't gonna outrun this ass whooping, okay? So we see Mama looking fly as hell. She goes back to the park and she got her glasses on. When I saw the little cools, I was like, they took it way back with that, okay? And so essentially, he basically goes up to the kids. He beat the brakes off of them. They bleeding and stuff. You see the sock is all bloody. And then essentially that's how he starts to get his reputation as Kanan. And so we do a short time jump. We go into 1991 where we see that he's now in high school and the principal's having a conversation with him and his mother, basically saying that he has this amazing opportunity to go to this bougie white school. It costs $150 million to make, and essentially he needs to take an entrance exam in order to get into the school. But his mom wants him to go to that school because she wants a better life for him, which is kind of like a contrast from what we see in the beginning of the episode, because it almost seemed like she wanted her son to grow up into this life, or maybe it was just because she had just started dating High Post, and so he's the one who introduced her to the game, so maybe she wasn't quite there yet with the mentality. I don't know what was going on, but I was like, sis, what changed in the 6 years? Is it because High Post got killed? What is happening? And now all of a sudden you want Kanan to go to the school. And I know what y'all thinking, Sharonda. Everybody wants better for their kids, okay? But I was just like, I'm trying to figure out how you was talking to him going to college, becoming the CEO. So I was just like, so how did Kanan get down this path? But we quickly see what is going on. I do want to give some highlights. I will have to say, I want to make sure I get his name right. So Makai Curtis, I actually love, he has the voice and mannerism, everything down pat as Kanan. I really like this addition with him. I thought he did a really great job. But also too, with Patina Miller, who plays Raquel Thomas, who is Kanan's mom, she did that, okay? She bodied that from the makeup, the hair. She was about that life. She is my favorite character. And I do want to give a shout out to Courtney Kemp and the team in 50. I love how they show powerful Black women. I really like that that's something that we see in the Power universe. Like, let's take out the fact that everybody drug dealers and doing bad stuff. I like that they show women in places of power, women who command power, who are like running everyone. I really appreciate them for that. I appreciate the fact that we got a dark-skinned sister doing that as well, because it's really important, the images that we place. I'm taking out the crime portion of it, okay? But just to be able to see a dark-skinned, beautiful Black woman who is in a position of power, who people fear, who are taking orders from her, I really like that. But we see that we're introduced to some of his friends. So I really love that we got to see Lovey Simone, who plays Davina, who is, I'm assuming, is going to be a potential love interest for Kanan. He's had a crush on her since the 2nd grade. She's been curving him since the 1st grade, as Jukebox was asking all of the right questions. Why do you like someone who obviously don't like you? But I was like, Jukebox, you didn't see her flirt. She was like, oh, you cute. She was like, you cute and stuff. I said, gas him up, sis. Come on, Davina, gas him up. But we're going to have some issues with their relationship, because we see that she's dating Buck 20, who is working for Unique. He's one of the biggest drug dealers on the South Side. And as we see they get into it, I'll get into that a little bit later, we know that there's going to be some friction in their relationship as they try to figure out who is responsible for Buck 20's death. But in the meantime, we do get introduced to Jukebox, the teenage version of Jukebox. And we see that I was like, Jukebox got a white girlfriend, okay? I was like, I didn't see that one coming. And so she is basically Marvin's daughter. And so I was just like, Marvin, I feel a certain type of way, because why would you tell your kid, if they had an opportunity to go to a better school, why would you tell her, like, don't be going to school with all them white people? I just didn't understand. I was like, what type of parent does that? But it is what it is. We see that they're all having a conversation. They all go out to have a family dinner on Wednesdays. And this is where we get the information about him going to the school. The family's happy for him. And then we get that little tidbit of how Jukebox had that same opportunity. And Marvin was just like, well, girl, you should be able to do it too now. She was like, sir, I'm too old now. Like, you should have had that mentality a couple of years ago when I had that opportunity, okay? But we see that Famous shows up. Famous, and he killed me when he said he was doing his rapping. He's like, man, I've been touched by an angel. It made me think back to the day. Y'all remember that show, Touched by an Angel? Don't say y'all don't remember, because everybody, mama, auntie, grandma, all the church people, they all watched Touched by an Angel, baby. It was a ratings gold, okay? It made me laugh, because I was like, Touched by an Angel was so dope. I don't know if it wasn't back out in the 80s by then, but I'm just saying, it just made me think about that. That has nothing to do with this show. Just a random thought that I had pop in my mind. It's okay, I'm gonna get back on track. But we see when they go outside, they're having this conversation, and we see that they start shooting at them. And so we see as Kanan gets up and he looks, he sees Buck 20 in the back seat. And I was like, Lord, they finna go kill Buck 20. I just know this man ain't gonna make it, okay? He was too fly, okay? He had already took his girl. I was like, ain't no way the Buck 20 gonna live to see another episode. And unfortunately, that's eventually what happened. But can I just give a prop for them playing Street Fighter? Okay, because Street Fighter was the jam. That was my game. Chun-Li, you don't nobody want to see me in Street Fighter with Chun-Li, okay? because you're not going to survive, okay? It's going to be an instant KO, I'm just saying. But we see as they're all having this conversation, D-Wiz, one of his friends, tells him that he sees Buck 20 essentially selling on 140th, which was his mom's block. However, what they do not know, because this is why grown people say the kids stay out of grown folks' business, because he would have known that when after the shooting happened, and he has this conversation with his mom, which I love that they show this close-knit relationship between him and his mother and how he would do anything for her. And she starts asking the questions about, like, what happens if something were to happen to you? Like, you need to pull me up to speed. I know more than what you think you know. I've already deciphered your little secret coach I got going on, but I can help you. I can be an asset. And so she basically says, like, I'm going to take care of this. And the way that she did that is she meets up with Unique, and essentially they have a conversation. We do get a little backstory about how maybe I think Unique's brother has something to do with her man High Post being killed, but High Post and they had a deal previously. And she was just like, okay, y'all had a deal. That don't mean I had a deal. So I don't have no deals to really recognize in my book. So what are you talking about, sir? So essentially all of this is because he wants to still honor the old deal they have for her having certain blocks. And so in an effort to avoid a war, because as Unique says, none of them have the soldiers in order to really carry this out the way that they would normally. And so she agrees to give them the blocks. So this is why this is why I was just like, sir, did you talk to your mama? Did your mama tell you to mind your business? So what do they dumb behinds do? They get some guns, they go, they start shooting, and Kanan ends up killing Buck 20. And so this is the first time that he says that he sees a body, but I don't know if that's necessarily his first dead body. The how he said it was a little bit vague to me. So I was like, sir, is this the first person you could kill? Is it not? Did you kill someone like with a knife or something? I don't know. It was a little vague in how he gave those little details to us, but obviously he's in trouble when, we see that. Actually, let me pause right there. I'm going to pause right there because we got to talk about something else. We got to talk about his mama, because his mama crazy, okay? We already know that his mom, this is basically her business. She has her brothers, Lulu, Marvin, and essentially we see her get into this interaction, okay? So she's in this interaction at a nightclub, and essentially they're going to meet up with Hugo, and they cut a deal that basically they're going to be the distro. They're going to sell the coke in the club. So she comes into contact with a woman. I think her name was Tony. So Tony started talking smack like, we're not using your stuff. Tony, a white girl, keep in mind. We're not using your stuff, this ghetto stuff. I said, ooh, Tony, Tony, you calling myself ghetto? To my face? You buck like that with that dog? Like, you gonna be buck like that? I was like, wow. And Raquel was like, baby, you must not know me, but I know what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be selling this coke up in this club. I don't care who you are, with a little publicist, whatever you are, baby. Just know I ain't the one to mess with. And so, of course, Lulu gets in between them to basically like, sis, you really don't know who you messing with. And so essentially they have a conversation. And, he tells her, like, hey, I'm going to meet up with Hugo later, and we're going to take care of this. But we see that Raquel talking to her. I say, hey, Symphony fine, y'all. He fine little bartender, and then they talking, flirting, and then he talking about, we going to go out on a date. I was like, take me on a date, baby. So when they out here having a date, and he a good man too, okay? He got plans for his stuff, talking about urban planning and stuff. A man with a mind, okay? I need to be in love with your mind too and have conversation with you as well. But basically the date gets interrupted because she finds out what has happened with Kanan, and then they get into this whole argument. Now I was a little scared of Raquel because when Marvin started talking that smack, she didn't have to read him like that. I said, babe, did you have to read your brother like that in front of all these people? But I was just like, go ahead and be a boss bitch. Like, I'm here for it. But we see that Kanan tried to get buck with her, and he had a point. Like, if you didn't want me to be a part of this life, then why have you raised me in it? And I find the relationship dynamic that because Kanan does remind me of Tariq in a certain way, I find that relationship a little bit different, because whereas where we saw where Ghost tried to push Tariq away, or he tried to hide what he actually did from Tariq, We see that Raquel, she's very open about what she does, but she's also very adamant to tell her son, like, I do not want this life for you in any way, shape, or form. But still, he still has close proximity to what you're doing, getting shootouts after family dinner. Like, what did you think was going to happen? Like, why didn't you think he was continue to gravitate to this? Because you're the only role model he has. Even the uncles that he has, they're all a part of the business with you. And so it presents this interesting, this dilemma for his mother. I want the best for my child. I want him to go to school. I want him to have a life. I don't want him to have to sell drugs like I did. But at the end of the day, my choices as his mother is still like leading him closer and closer to the game, no matter what I do to try to push him away. And so we see that he ends up going to take the test. When Famous said that he would probably flunk the test on purpose, I knew that Kanan was basically going to flunk the test so he wouldn't have to get into school, so he can stay with his friends. But we see that she ends up having a conversation with him to tell him, like, hey, we got to get rid of your shirt. And she tried to have a conversation with him about, you're right. I should have sent you to live with your grandmother. I should have kept you out of all of this, but I didn't. But I don't want this life for you. And so she tells him to go take the trash out. And then people end up shooting at him. And then she come out with the gun so quick, like hitting the car. I was like, okay, mama, you better protect your children, okay? Child, like, why am I saying children? But she's not at a crossroads. So because of everything that's happened, of course, this is going to start a war between Unique and Raquel. Rightfully so, because they came to an agreement, and literally they reneged on that because she didn't tell her son what was happening. See what happened when you don't tell him about the grown folks' business, even though he should have stayed out of grown folks' business at the same dang on time. But she ends up meeting, they have the detectives come because there was a shootout outside of her house. And that's where we're introduced to Omar Epps' character, Malcolm Howard, who seemed like a shady cop. Because he sure did get out of the car like he run everything, like 50 was saying in the voiceover. But as we see in clips for what's coming up for the season, it seems like he has ties to Unique. So I don't know necessarily what's going on. But you can tell that there's history between all of them. I just don't know what that history necessarily looks like. And so essentially we know that he's going to be investigating everything that's happening. But also he tells her, like, oh, it seems like your kid's boss tech job. He's a part of the game now. Everyone's telling her, like, hey, like, it's inevitable. This is what's going to happen for him. Like, if you keep him here, it's just what you're going to have to do. And so because of his consequences, she takes him out and she has a conversation with him and is like, hey, you wanted to be in the game. You're now a part of the game. And then we see, her teaching him how to shoot. We kind of see her look at him like, this is not what I wanted for him. But since now, like, they're looking for him. There's a bounty on his head. I have to teach him. I can't just let him go out here and not teach him how to protect himself. And I think that's her job as a mother at this point, to protect her son, for getting him in the life that she didn't want him to be a part of. But what I find really interesting, I might get crucified for this, it's okay, is interesting the conversation that Unique has with Raquel the second time when he tells her, like, hey, I am a leader of an organization. If I don't defend one of my guys that has been taken out by your son, one of your people, your crew, see, I'm not looking at it like that's your son. That's someone that's a part of your crew. That's one of your boys, okay? So at the end of the day, I got to do what I got to do. So there's nothing we can do except you give me all the blocks and avoid a war. But until then, there will be a bounty on his head, and we will, is whatever it is, whatever. So I think it's interesting when he tells her, like, when she tries to say, well, you have a child too, like you would do the same thing. He was like, there's a different type of love that I have. Your son came from you. You literally brought him into this world. And then he was like, this is why women aren't supposed to be a part of the game, which I was like, sir, stop it. But he had a point when he was like, the love that you have for your child is on a whole nother level than the love that I have for my son could ever be. And so for you, you're going to have to make that distinction. Like, this is one of your guys. This is not just your son now. He's a part of your crew. I thought it was a really interesting conversation. I do want to give a nod to the writers about that scene, because even though I was still side-eyeing him, I was like, he does have a point. This is a different type of love that you have for your child. And I think that's what helps her make the decision to actually let him become a part of the game, because it's going to be a bounty on his head. There's no way she can get out of this. So it'll be interesting to see how all of that necessarily kind of plays out as the season continues to go on. But overall for me, this was a really good episode. This is a really good season premiere. I really love how everything looks. Also, too, you know what? That was Anna Lynn McCord who played Tony. I was like, oh, okay, look at you, 90210. You on Power now. I do have something that I need from the Power universe, okay? I need Ping. And let me explain this, okay? I'm tired of seeing titties. I'm tired of seeing titties and coochie. I'm tired of seeing all of that. If y'all gonna make me look at titties all day, I need to see some Ping. I need some equal opportunity, like nudity, okay? Because when we get to that infamous scene when they didn't have to do this to Bella. I do not condone microwaving pets, but she did say she was gonna let you know who she was. And so essentially, Tony getting her back broken, and it didn't even look like it was that good. I was like, baby, if my parents are watching, I don't know what good sex will look like because I'm a virgin. But it didn't look like if I was, having sex, it didn't look like she was getting some good. It just felt like she was getting some so good. So when she smelled something, they didn't have to put Bella in the microwave. Bella can't even speak for herself. She got to do what her owner tells her to do. They didn't have to do Bella like that. But I guess Raquel had to teach her a point in order to make sure that she's still going to be the main connect at the nightclub, which low-key looked like truth. Let me know in the comment section if you feel like it looked like truth too. Maybe I'm just tripping. Maybe I still just got original power in my mind. But yeah, so I just want equal opportunity, like nudity in TV, movies. I complain about this everywhere. If y'all get to see titties every single episode, I should see some Ping. I'm just saying it's only right. But overall, I really love where they're going with this season. Great acting. It looks great. The music is so on point, especially with the time period that we're dealing with. I just think that it's just very well done. Like, it just doesn't make me feel like, some of the shows we've been watching, it feels like, oh, it's COVID. They took some short, they basically trying to cheap it out. It didn't feel that way. You can feel that there was a lot of time and effort put into this season. So I like where we're at for a first episode. I think it's a very strong first episode. Definitely gonna have me watching the whole season. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Power Book 3, Raising Kanan back in the day. Let me know in the comment section below. Did you like this episode? Did you not like it? What do you want to see more of? Who are your favorite characters so far? I'm riding with Rock. That's who I'm riding with right now. It's my favorite character. But yeah, those are my thoughts on the episode. As always, my name is Sharana from Para Waits. And if you like what you saw today, make sure you hit the like button, hit subscribe, share this video with your friends, and make sure you hit the notification bell. And I love you guys 3000. And until I see you again, bye.